Welcome, this is Zsuzsa from I Heal with Love. Welcome back to the Virtue series. This series is dedicated to exploring the timeless qualities that shape our spiritual growth, the virtues. Virtues are aspects of love, the different ways love expresses itself through our human experience. Each virtue is a frequency of love learning to move through us more consciously. Our souls come to earth to learn love in all its forms. And each lifetime, each challenge, each relationship becomes an opportunity and an invitation to embody another shade of it. Virtues are like facets of diamond, each one reflecting a different light of the same source, divine love. The more we practice and cultivate these qualities, the more our soul remembers its true essence. In this series, we explore how virtues have evolved throughout history, how humanity has sometimes misunderstood them, and how we can now return to learning them through awareness without dramas, traumas, suffering, pain. Each virtue series video, it's an inner journey to recognize where a virtue is missing or distorted in our lives, to release the limiting ways we have tried to learn it, and to receive healings and alignment through Creator's perspective. Because when we embody virtues, we become clearer channels of love itself. So, this is number 55, and it is the virtue of forgiveness. All the Virtue series videos are available in my private Facebook group called We Heal with Love. This is a subscription-based group where I also do weekly group healings. These are live events where the members can come and receive individual time and healing. If you are interested, please reach out to me. I am a Certificate of Science Theta Healing Master Instructor who also completed the DNA 4 seminars, and in these videos I mostly use the theta healing technique. If you're new to this, in order to receive the clearings, the healings, the energetic downloads, all you gotta do is give me permission by thinking or saying a yes, and that way I can include you in the group where I witness the people receiving these energetic shifts on a quantum level. Today's virtue is forgiveness, and forgiveness is a word everyone recognizes, often taught through morality, culture, religion. Forgiveness is a profound practice of inner freedom. It is one of the most powerful tools we have to release the past, to reclaim our energy, restoring clarity within ourselves, and to return to love. To forgive is to free ourselves from the vibrational prison of the past and to choose peace over the illusion of control and separation. And now even modern science acknowledges what spirituality has always known. Forgiveness lowers stress, resets the nervous system, strengthens immunity, restores emotional balance, and increases happiness. So what truly is forgiveness? At the human level, it's the simple and personal act of releasing. This hurt me, and I consciously choose to release it. It's about letting go of the emotional tension that built up around an experience. And when we forgive at this level, it restores emotional balance, helps us return to a healthier, calmer state, allowing love to circulate again. This level heals emotions, restores openness, and brings the heart back into balance. Forgiveness at the soul level reveals purpose. Here we recognize that even the most painful experiences carried a lesson, growth, and supported the evolution of our soul. Forgiveness becomes the release of karmic ties and the end of old agreements and the return of inner harmony, because the soul stops carrying the weight of the story, because the story has already served its purpose. And then forgiveness at the creator's level, beyond duality, becomes something entirely different, because it becomes the recognition of the highest truth, that there was never anything to forgive. Because above duality, there is no right or wrong or good or bad or victim and perpetrator. There is only consciousness expressing itself through experiences. So forgiveness here is not an action, but it is a state of awareness, the pure recognition. I see the perfection beneath the imperfection. I see love where love was hidden or forgotten or denied. So from this expanded consciousness, forgiveness is the remembrance of unity. People do not act against us. They act from the limits of their perception, their wounds, their level of awareness, teaching us. And forgiveness becomes the release of the illusion of separation. It becomes the understanding that all souls are learning. All energies seek balance. And love, the essence of existence, is untouched by the human concept of wrong, harm, crime. And forgiveness and gratitude can rise together, because we can start having gratitude for the lessons learned, for the strength gained, and for the awakening that emerged through the contrast. And here, the pain becomes the teacher, the conflict becomes the catalyst, and the heart learns the deeper language of love. And the soul is freed without needing the story to change. The karma dissolves and the contracts end, and all participants are released. And in that moment, love flows again, steady, powerful, and eternal. And this way, forgiveness becomes the key that unlocks happiness, harmony, and the possibility of truly loving relationships. So isn't that beautiful and heartwarming? And are you ready to embody it? And now let's look at the etymology of forgiveness. So the word forgiveness comes from the Old English, forgiven, which itself evolved from two parts, for, meaning completely or thoroughly, and griffen, meaning to give. So forgiven literally means to give completely, to give up, and to give away. And then in early English, to forgive didn't primarily mean to excuse wrongdoing. It meant to release, to let go, to detach from, to grant freedom. It was the act of total giving, not merely of pardon, but the relinquishment. So giving up resentment, debt, or the claim over another's fault. And this concept later carried over into Latin through pardonare, from per, completely, and donare, to donate, to give, which also means to give fully. And then it entered Old French and Middle English, merging the ideas of mercy and release. So to start, I would like to offer to you Creator's highest respected definition, understanding, knowing, and feeling of forgiveness, of a human level, soul level, and Creator's level, that yours is the same as the Creator's. Can the Creator release the lower frequency meanings of forgiveness to God's light? Can the Creator instill what it feels like to be forgiving and being forgiven by yourself and by others? Can I witness Creator opening receptors for awareness that forgiveness can heal your heart, enhance your body's function? And can I witness the unconditional love of the Creator flowing to your heart? And I invite you to please co-witness this with me. So bring your attention to your heart space and visualize this beautiful, pearly, bright white light energy coming into your heart. And visualize this love circulating again through the places that once felt blocked, guarded, broken, showering every cell, every fiber of your being in your heart space with this unconditional love, and expanding that to your whole body and to your entire being. And let's continue with some distortions, clearings, healings, and even some practical steps. So, the love you withhold is rarely because you don't want to love. Because there is one thing in common with all human beings. Deep inside, they all long to love and to be loved, and that's the ultimate learning of the human existence. To experience love, to embrace love, to spread love, to allow love to manifest through us. So the block is that actually prevents this natural flow, our old wounds and our inability to forgive. So indeed, old wounds, betrayals, rejection, abuse, disappointment, heartbreaks, these experiences leave scars that build invisible walls around our hearts, preventing it from allowing love to flow freely. These walls seem protective, but in truth, they keep us trapped in the suffering of the past, and they actually block this flow of love. Have you ever heard that quote, which is one of my favorite quotes? To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover the prisoner was you. Because when we do not forgive, we are not punishing the one who hurt us. We are the ones being punished. Just think about it. Let's say this person hurt you, and then this person goes on with their life, enjoying life with clear conscience, and sometimes completely unaware. And maybe they keep even hurting others the same way. They may not even think of us or what they have done to us, but inside we carry them every day if we haven't forgiven. We hold on to the resentment, the anger, the grudge, the bitterness, and maybe even the hunger for revenge, or just the hope that they will fail or that karma will do its job. But this is like a poison we drink daily, and in reality, it only affects us. So forgiveness basically is a gift to yourself. So can the Creator bring this awareness in? Can the Creator show you what it feels like to have self-compassion and how to be generous with yourself and giving yourself the gift of forgiveness, recognizing it benefits you? Forgiveness is the conscious choice to stop allowing another action to victimize us. It is the declaration. I no longer give them the power to control my heart, my peace, my thoughts, my life. And I hand this over to something greater than myself. I release myself from living at the level of that wound because I choose to forgive, I choose peace, I choose freedom, and I choose love. So let me just explain how this usually works. When someone does something to us that we decided it was unfair, wrong, and so on, we basically have two choices how to respond to it. Number one, how could they do this? I didn't deserve this. This is unfair, which is functioning from judgment. Number two, we can say they had their reason from the illusion that they are functioning from, with the lack of the awareness and the consciousness they are functioning from. But I don't need to know their reason. You see, most people think that forgiveness requires them to understand why someone did what they did. And sometimes it can help. For example, if you were abused as a child and then you learn that your mother was also abused as a child, by seeing this repeated pattern, you can have more compassion for your mother, and this may help you to make forgiveness process easier. But very often there is no reason you can comprehend why someone did something. So try to understand, which literally means to stand under, in this case to stand under the weight of another's cruelty and action. So pondering about why someone was mean, rude, why someone stole from you, why someone cheated on you, why someone left you, why someone harmed an innocent child, why a murder was committed, and I could say another million things that are all examples of the same. It will always lower your vibration because you need to stand under to be able to relate to their action and the level of the awareness. And in that moment, you are lowering your vibration and you are sabotaging your own way of creating reality from a higher consciousness and from a higher vibration. So everywhere you were functioning from that, everywhere you lowered your vibration because you were attached to know the reason of other people's actions, that you judged that it was wrong. Can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and send unconditional love? Can the Creator disconnect, disassociate forgiveness from understanding, from standing under? Can the Creator show you that instead you can function from the following? This is too heavy for me to carry. I don't need to understand their reason. I return it to the Creator, to divine justice. I release my need to understand their motivation. I release them into the laws that govern their growth. And I free myself from the role of being their judge. That this is safe, it's possible, it's permitted. So basically, forgiving is just releasing the energies from my own energy field. This way, you no longer carry the burden that once shielded them from their own lessons, nor you block the grace that is meant to reach them so they can face the truth and grow in a way only divine can guide. So through forgiveness, the energy of justice and the energy of mercy can finally flow where they belong. So can the Creator show you how to have awareness and clarity of this, and that this is safe and possible and permitted to function from? So spiritually, until we learn this virtue, life continues to send us lessons. Villains appear repeating the same themes until we finally forgive and rise above the cycle. This is the soul's curriculum. We are here to master love, and forgiveness is many times the last missing piece for that. So energetically, when we swear things like, I will never forgive this, I will never forgive you, I will never forgive them, we actually bind ourselves to karmic contracts. And then the universe presents us with the very situation over and over and over again until we learn to dissolve it with forgiveness. And in that moment of release, when we forgive, finally the karmic debt is released, and many times it is the last action to allow the lessons to be completed. So forgiveness dissolves karma because it severs the energetic connections between us and the other, and between us and an experience. And as long as we hold resentment, we remain tied to them across time and lifetimes. So we are free to move forward once we master and perform and practice forgiveness. We won't invite the repeated cycles in order to learn forgiveness. And we will be free to love, free to live, and in that present instead of being chained to the past. So I invite you to reflect on this. What did you promise never to forgive? Who did you swear never to forgive? And if there is resistance to forgive certain actions and certain experiences and certain people, you need to investigate what is the worst thing that would happen if you did forgive. Why are you holding on to this? How is it benefiting you to hold on to it? Of course, you can do a digging on this, but for now, may I witness, Creator, marking complete any oaths, vows, promises, swearings, contracts that are ready to be completed, where you promise you will never forgive something or someone. Can the Creator show you that it's safe, it's possible to forgive? And of course, just like with every other virtue, the most limiting way of learning a virtue is always by practicing its opposite. And when it comes to forgiveness, the opposite is by practicing unforgiveness. So, what is an unforgivable sin to you? I was guided years ago to reflect on this and to do a session on myself or a couple. And when Creator was showing me pedophilia and cannibalism, those were very, very heavy energies that I was holding on to as judgment. And my healing was truly enlightening and beautiful and healing as I released my need to justify or to judge their action. And as I released, the anger, the hate, the rage attached to them. So if you are open to it, I suggest you're doing a healing session on this theme. But for now, may I witness the Creator to mark complete, as much as possible, your way of learning forgiveness through unforgiveness. And first of all, let's look at one of our important aspects that can indeed block us to forgive: the ego, which will be a returning theme throughout this video. So the ego creates an identity so you can navigate the physical world in this plane of existence. You have a name, you have a story that gives you the sense of you. But when the ego is hurt, it doesn't know how to heal. It only knows how to defend. And the ego's resistance to forgiveness comes from pride, comparison, and identity. The ego cares deeply about how is it seen, what people think about you. It wants to be right, it wants to win, it wants to be validated, and at times it even feels superior in its pain. So the ego might say, I shouldn't have been treated this way, and this builds a throne out of righteousness. But this righteousness is heavy, it binds the heart to the very thing it wants to rise above. Forgiveness often comes only after vulnerability. For the ego, that can be very challenging because vulnerability means stop defending and allowing ourselves to feel the pain and sit with that rawness without numbing, distracting, or intellectualizing. And at that moment, the walls begin to melt. This is the moment where true transformation begins, because forgiveness is an energetic release. It happens when the pain finally moves through us, rather than staying trapped within. Vulnerability is the gateway to grace. When the heart opens, the ego softens, and the energy that once protected us becomes the energy that can heal us as well. When we allow ourselves to feel, to cry, to tremble, to grieve, the energy that was trapped in our body begins to move. The nervous system resets. The past loosens its grips, and forgiveness becomes not a decision but a natural unfolding of the heart. So, would you like to have Creator's perspective, definition, understanding, and the clear discernment between vulnerability and danger and unsafety? First, Creator's highest perspective, definition, understanding of vulnerability, and then the clear discernment between vulnerability and danger and unsafety. What it feels like to be safe in your vulnerability. Would you like to know that you can open your heart without the fear of being hurt? Can the Creator show you that vulnerability and strength can coexist beautifully within you? That you know how to allow your tears to cleanse you. Everywhere you were made wrong for crying, can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and start sending you unconditional love? Can the Creator show you that it can be safe to let your defenses soften and allow healing to be present? Would you like to know that you can feel your emotions deeply without drowning in them? And everywhere that was happening, can the creator pull the shotgun, the trauma, and start sending you unconditional love? Can the creator show you how to express vulnerability with grace and discernment? Forgiveness reflects the nature of love itself. And love doesn't forgive once, it keeps forgiving. It keeps giving away the right to hold on to pain. For giving is to pass through the hurt without becoming it, to allow grace to flow through the heart as it chooses release over resistance. When love takes the place of ego, peace returns. And in that moment, forgiveness becomes freedom. So, can I witness Creator sending unconditional love to your ego aspect, to the part of you built walls around your heart, believing it was keeping you safe? Would you like to know what it feels like to let your ego rest in safety and peace? That you can keep your dignity without needing to be right? That you can release the need to win without ever losing your values? That can the creator show you that the difference between protection and pride? Would you like to know how to let go of comparison and live from authenticity instead? Can the creator teach you creator's highest perspective, definition, understanding, knowing, and feeling of authenticity? That forgiveness means releasing the emotional contract with pain. Can the creator bring the awareness in? And can I witness creator marking complete the contracts with pain and suffering that are ready to be released? Would you like to know what it feels like to be validated through peace, that you can express vulnerability without danger, weakness, or loss of respect, and that you can feel your emotions fully and still remain anchored in calm and peace? And can the creator show you that you can forgive without forgetting the wisdoms gained? So indeed, the ego might still be seeking something, and that could be validation, recognition, or justice. Because it is the part of us that still wants to hear an apology, and that what happened to you wasn't not okay. But what if that person you are expecting and hoping to receive that apology from passed away already? Or they have such a lack of awareness that they cannot own what they did? Then the ego might still feel this resistance, and the undercurrent is still trying to find, the undercurrent part of your subconscious might still trying to find a solution. So I'm gonna show you and share with you an exercise so your ego can feel acknowledged by this symbolically giving it the closure it needs to finally let go. So this practical advice we're going to do is called a symbolic completion exercise. And in trauma healing studies and cognitive neuroscience it is shown that the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to distinguish between imagination and reality. So when you are reading or hearing words of apology, even if it's imagined, your brain emotional centers process them as real. What will happen? Your amygdala, which governs emotional memory, begins to calm. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational integrative part of your brain, activates, creating a sense of coherence and safety. And this sends the signals to your nervous system that the threat is over. So the survival self of your subconscious can finally rest. Symbolically, it allows the ego to receive the validation it was waiting for, so it can step down from defense and finally allow forgiveness to emerge. So you're going to grab paper and a pen and write a letter to yourself in the name of the person that hurt you. I will post under the video the beginning of this letter, so don't worry about now writing it. So the letter will say, Dear so and so, you're going to write your name. I'm so very sorry this letter took me so long to write. I had to grow to realize what I've done and the ways I have hurt you. I want to apologize for everything I have caused. Now I recognize how my actions affected you, and you didn't deserve that. I was acting from my own unhealed wounds, and I couldn't see your heart. I'm very sorry I wasn't capable of love, awareness, or presence at the time. I take full responsibility for what I've done, and please allow yourself to live freely of what I did. Because you deserve peace, you deserve love. And then you can continue going into more specific, letting your hand write whatever you desire to hear. When you later read this letter out loud or silently, your subconscious mind and the different levels of subconscious mind cannot tell whatever those words are coming from the other person or from yourself. It simply registers that an apology was received, and this satisfies the ego's need for validation. Because it says, I was right to be heard. It really wasn't okay. And once the ego feels heard, it relaxes, and the protective walls begin to soften, and forgiveness becomes emotionally possible, not just conceptually desirable. So after you are reading this letter, take a deep breath and place your hand over your heart and repeat silently. I accept this acknowledgement. I accept this apology. I release the story. I put this experience behind me. I see how far I have come, and I allow peace, and I can move forward. This completion is the ego's way of closing the loop so the heart can finally open again. And after this exercise, you can tear the letter up or burn it. You can also do this by writing this letter to someone you hurt that can help you to forgive yourself and stop self-sabotaging, self-harming patterns. So now let me offer to you some downloads to support this. Can the Creator teach you what it feels like to allow your ego to receive apology and validation in a healthy way? That you can find closure without needing others to change? That it's safe, possible, and you can give yourself the acknowledgement you always needed to hear? Can the Creator show you how to release the expectation or justice without feeling powerless? Can the Creator teach you what it feels like for your ego to feel safe, seen, and honored? Can the Creator show you how to integrate compassion and understanding without erasing your truth? And then let's now continue with another aspect of the ego, bit different. Because sometimes forgiveness is even misused. In spiritual circles, people may treat forgiveness as a badge of enlightenment, a performance of being above others, a quiet way of saying, I have forgiven, I have evolved past you. But that is the ego dressed in light. True forgiveness is humble. It doesn't elevate one soul over another. It recognizes the shared human capacity for errors and the shared divine capacity for growth. When we forgive authentically, we return to love where we are all equal. We remember that we too have needed grace and that we too have hurt others when we were lost. So, can the Creator bring the awareness of these experiences that you might have felt or might have acted this way? Can the Creator start sending a lots of unconditional love? And can the Creator bring in the understanding, the divine understanding of we are both learning We are both evolving and we are both loved equally by the Creator, and we are both worthy and deserving of Creator's love, regardless how much we have forgiven. And can the Creator bring in the download that the only thing worth holding is love? So if you're a theta healer, you are familiar with the digging technique, more specifically with the fear digging. So in the next examples, paradigms, I'm gonna share what have been coming up through the sessions. When I do fear digging on clients about forgiveness, the fear of becoming just like the person who harmed them if they forgive them is a very common one. So let's look at this paradigm. This is still the ego's most subtle fears, the idea that if I forgive, I'm somehow agreeing with the behavior, aligning with it, and lowering myself to it. But forgiveness doesn't make you like the one who hurt you. Resentment does. So when you hold anger long enough, you start to think like it, speak like it, and vibrate like it. So this way, the lack of forgiveness keeps you tethered to the same energy you wish to rise above. And forgiveness is the act that breaks that energetic mirror. So can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and send unconditional love and healing and courage to those times when you feared forgiving? Would you like to know the clear discernment and the difference between forgiving and becoming like the ones who hurt you or someone, or they hurt someone else? Can the Creator teach you how to know that forgiveness straightens your integrity and purifies your heart? Would you like to know how to release negative energies without losing your values? Would you like to know what it feels like to stay in your own light even as you let go of pain? And then another one in fear digging is, oh, if I forgive them, I will have to let them back into my life. Many people hesitate to forgive because they fear it will mean letting the person who hurt them return emotionally, energetically, and sometimes even physically. But forgiveness is an internal act and it doesn't have to be an invitation. So, the subconscious often believes that holding on to resentment, grudge, anger, bitterness equals protection, but boundaries don't need a resentment to exist. Forgiveness and discernment can coexist beautifully. So, can I witness Creator pulling the shock and the trauma and the regret where you forgave and you allow the person back into your life? The same way, energetically, physically, emotionally. And then, because you did that, the same thing happened, they hurt you, or they did something worse even. Resolving this on a history level and sending you lots of healing. Can the Creator teach you the discernment between forgiving and losing boundaries? Can the Creator teach you the clear discernment between holding on to resentment, grudge, anger, bitterness, and the highest perspective of protection? Would you like to know what it feels like to forgive without letting someone back into your life emotionally, energetically, or physically? Would you like to know how to allow healing without unaligned reconciliation? Would you like to know how to forgive with love without choosing what is safe for you? Can the Creator teach you what it feels like to forgive with love while choosing what is safe for you? Would you like to know that forgiveness and boundaries can coexist in perfect harmony in your life? And even this is a person that you interact on a daily basis at a workplace, or you co-parent your child with, and there is no way of completely distancing yourself, right? Can the Creator show you that you can still forgive them and release them from teaching you forgiveness through their action, and that you can still set healthy boundaries? And can the Creator show you what it feels like for those healthy boundaries to be respected and honored by this person? And that you can Still keep your distance where you can feel safe from them. Frequently, forgiveness to people means condoning. Many think forgiveness means saying, it was okay for, and I will let it happen again. This misunderstanding makes forgiveness feel like betrayal of the self. And true forgiveness never denies responsibility, it simply releases the emotional bondage. So you can forgive and still have strong sacred boundaries. It says, I release myself from carrying their action as my burden. So can the Creator bring in this perspective of forgiveness? Can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and send healing everywhere where you were functioning from this and teach you the clear discernment between forgiveness and condoning? Let's look at forgiveness and weakness. Many people resist forgiveness because they mistake it for surrendering power and loss of dignity. This is also the ego, because it might believe that to forgive means to lose control, to give up the upper hand. Forgiveness threatens the identity that the ego built by dissolving the story the ego built around it. So the unknown beyond resentment feels vulnerable. So the mind calls forgiveness weak just to justify holding on. And then many people are conditioned to believe that strength means never let anyone get away with stuff. But by forgiving doesn't mean they get away with stuff, right? I mean, they will still be responsible for their actions. So, can the Creator send the healing and pull the shock and the trauma to you where you are functioning from either of these and teach you the clear discernment between forgiveness and weakness? Can the Creator show you that being vulnerable can be the most courageous decision and that forgiveness can be an act of strength? Would you like to know how to forgive without losing self-respect? Next one, forgiveness and resignation. So, what's common in them is that they both stop the fight. Resignation says, there's nothing I can do. And this is giving up on change, giving up on the understanding, and giving up on yourself. Forgiveness says, I release this so I can be free. Forgiveness is the movement, resignation is the stagnation. So can the Creator send the healing to you and pull the shock and the trauma from all space-time dimensions, from all versions of you when you are functioning from this? Can the Creator teach you the difference between forgiveness and resignation? And would you like to know what it feels like to forgive without giving up, and how to release pain while staying empowered and open-hearted? Next one is forgiving and assimilating. Assimilation happens when we take in someone else's pain, behavior, or energy in an attempt to, well, again, understand it through empathy. It's the empathic instinct to absorb in order to make sense. The heart says, maybe if I carry this, I can fix it or prevent it from happening again. But what actually happens is emotional fusion. The boundary between self and another is dissolved. There's no autonomy, and assimilation entangles you. It turns empathy into enmeshment and compassion into self-sacrifice. And again, it functions from this standing under that I was explaining in the beginning, through understanding. However, forgiveness can observe the lesson, acknowledge the emotion, and then lets the energy return to pure light. And it keeps the wisdom and lets go of the weight. So can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and send unconditional love everywhere you were functioning from assimilation? Can I witness Creator releasing these absorbed energies? Can the Creator show you who you are without the need to hold on to these energies and without these energies? Would you like to know the clear discernment between forgiving and assimilating? Would you like to have the clear discernment between compassion and absorbing, and between empathy and enmeshment? And can the Creator teach the clear discernment between divine understanding and this lower meaning of standing under? And can the Creator show you how to have deep compassion without absorbing others' energy? Can the Creator also give you clear discernment what is yours and what is someone else's? The next distortion is believing that forgiving means being naive, because to forgive is to ignore reality or allow harm again. People fear that if they forgive, they will be taken advantage of or appear foolish, as if forgiveness erases discernment. But true forgiveness opens your eyes wider, while naivety ignores patterns and refuses to see reality. So you can forgive someone and still stop allowing the same behavior again. So, would you like to know the clear discernment between forgiveness and naivety? Would you like to know how to forgive while maintaining clear boundaries? You know what it feels like to see truth clearly and still choose peace? Would you like to know how to keep your heart open without abandoning your wisdom? Can we send the healing to all times, places, all versions of you when you held fear to forgive in order to avoid being naive? Can the Creator teach you how to know the difference between forgiveness and naivety with ease and grace? Would you like to know what it feels like to see the truth clearly and still choose peace? Next one is forgiveness and giving in. Many people avoid forgiveness because they confuse it with giving in, with surrendering their voice, their truth, their values, their boundaries. Many religious teachings and even authority figures and even well-meaning parents sometimes equated forgiveness with submission, with keeping quiet, tolerating mistreatment, or raising boundaries for the sake of peace. Forgiveness is confused here with obedience. Giving in comes from fear, exhaustion, or the desire to keep the peace at any cost. It says, I will pretend it's fine so we don't have to deal with this anymore. So can I witness Creator pulling the shock and the trauma and send the healing to you everywhere where forgiveness was an obligation, pressured, forced upon you? Can the Creator help you to reclaim your self-respect, integrity, and sense of justice from those experiences? Would you like to know the difference between forgiving and giving in? Would you like to know that forgiveness is a choice? Would you like to know what it feels like to forgive freely, guided by love, truth, and divine discernment? Would you like to know how to forgive from empowerment instead of submission? Would you like to know that you can forgive someone and still say no, and that you can forgive and still walk away if you choose to? And this brings me to the historical aspect of this, because forgiveness has not always been taught as liberation, but again, submission. And for centuries, forgiveness was imposed as a moral obligation, a demand for compliance rather than a pathway to freedom. And in many religious and patriarchal systems, people were told, forgive, long before they had processed their pain. So this way, forcing this forgiveness became a form of control, a way to maintain social order, reputation, and obedience. It was rarely an invitation to heal, it was often the command to conform. So forgiveness was used to silence truth. In the Middle Ages, women who spoke of mistreatment were shamed for being unforgiving. Religious doctrines taught believers that failing to forgive would lead to punishment, going to hell, spiritual unworthiness, not realizing that this often forced survivors to suppress trauma instead of healing it. And in many cultures, children were told to forgive authority figures immediately, even when those figures were violent or abusive, teaching generations that obedience mattered more than justice. Enslaved people and colonized were told to forgive their masters as a means of spiritual superiority while their real pain remained unseen. So humanity often learned forgiveness through suppression, denial, and guilt, rather than through awareness, truth, and compassion. This distorted the sense of forgiveness. It taught people that to be good, they must ignore their own pain, and it created spiritual shame for those who were still hurting and unable to forgive. But we are now entering new times, a time of conscious forgiveness. It is the choice that arises from healing. Authentic forgiveness honors the process. It allows anger to be felt, tears to be shed, and truth to be spoken. So, can I, witness creator, start pulling all shock and trauma connected to humanity's forced understanding of forgiveness, where forgiveness was used to silence, to control, to suppress, or to guilt? Can I, witness creator, sending lots of unconditional love to these moments, to the silenced voices, to the children, to the women, to the slaves, to the indigenous people, everyone affected by this. And to every heart that was told to forgive when it was still bleeding, it was still broken. Can the Creator teach clear discernment between forgiveness and silence, between forgiveness and submission? Would you like the Creator to show you that forgiveness is a sacred choice, exercising your free agency, and how to honor your pain and still keep your connection to love, that you can walk in peace without pretending nothing happened, that you can be a forgiving person without silencing your voice or denying the story or your pain? Can the Creator show you that it's safe, it's possible, it's permitted to hold others accountable and still live free of resentment? Would you like to know what it feels like to release guilt for not forgiving fast enough? Can the Creator cancel, clear, and resolve that you are unspiritual for still feeling hurt? And replace that you can be spiritual and process your pain and forgive in your own pace and rhythm? Can the Creator show you that you can be spiritual without bypassing your truth? And would you like the Creator to teach you that you can embody forgiveness as a conscious, sovereign act of your soul? As humanity evolved, the message has changed form, but the pressure to forgive didn't disappear. It simply found new language. Today often comes from therapists or coaches or spiritual communities, where you can hear, you must forgive to heal. You can't move forward until you forgive. This statement may be well-intentioned and in many cases, of course, true. But when offered at the wrong time, prematurely, they can create the same guilt or shame that the religious or familiar teaching once did. Because forgiveness cannot be commanded, even by modern spirituality. When we are told to forgive as a requirement for healing, we can end up performing forgiveness rather than embodying it, and that being the authentic forgiveness. In modern psychology, therapists now recognize that emotional bypassing and forced forgiveness can actually slow recovery. If the person hasn't processed the grief, rage, the betrayal, trying to forgive too early may feel like self-betrayal. So instead of releasing pain, they suppress it under layers of spiritual correctness, smiling while their nervous system still vibrates with the trauma. And authentic forgiveness arises only after emotional safety and self-validation have been restored. So without that foundation, the mind might say, I forgive, while the body still whispers, I'm unsafe. This disconnect between the heart and the intellect is what modern trauma work now calls spiritual bypassing, skipping over pain to reach enlightenment faster. But the soul honors every layer of feeling until peace is genuine. So let's learn the new way. Forgiveness that comes from truth. Healing that honors readiness without pressure and performance. So you know that it's okay if you're not ready to forgive. It's okay if you still need to hold on to anger, because forgiveness is not a proof of spiritual advancement. It is the byproduct of emotional wholeness. And when forgiveness is ready to come, it will come gently as the heart sighs with relief without it being forced moral decision. When it comes from authenticity, it restores life force, it reconnects you to joy, and it sets you free. So can I witness Creator pulling the shock and the trauma, releasing the guilt, and send unconditional love to you everywhere where you were being told you must forgive before you were ready? Can the Creator release all memories where forgiveness was used as a spiritual test of worthiness? Can I also expand this healing to all space-time dimensions, to all versions of you where you doubted your progress because you hadn't forgiven yet? Everywhere where you had a disconnect between your heart and intellect. Everywhere you were functioning from spiritual bypassing. Can the Creator show you how to honor every layer of feeling until peace is genuine and until you are ready to forgive? Can the Creator now restore your self-validation and safety? Everywhere you were functioning from self-betrayal, because instead of releasing the pain, you suppressed it. Can the Creator show you and actually magnify your ability to process anger, grief, resentment, betrayal with ease and grace? Can the Creator teach you the clear discernment between forced forgiveness and authentic forgiveness? Would you like the Creator to teach you what it feels like to allow forgiveness to happen in its own divine timing? Can the Creator show you that many ways of healing can unfold without you are ready to forgive? Can the Creator show you that you can grow, evolve, and live fully while still processing pain? Can the Creator show you that it's safe to express anger and still be loved by the Creator? Can the Creator show you how to live without the need to prove your spirituality through forgiveness? Can the Creator show you that you're free to forgive when your body, heart, and soul are ready to? And can the Creator show you how to release comparison with others' healing timelines? Can the Creator show you that you can experience peace even while forgiveness is forming? And that real forgiveness comes from love. The love already lives within you. And let's also look at another common distortions: forgiving versus forgetting. This is one of the most misunderstood distinctions, and it holds immense healing potential. It's a very common saying now: forgive and forget, as if the two must come together. This is a very limiting group consciousness. So first of all, can we resolve that on a history level and gently disconnect you from that group consciousness that supports this, sending you everywhere where you are functioning this lots of unconditional love and pulling shock and trauma, and sending a lot of unconditional love to these group consciousnesses and all its members? And indeed, sometimes forgetting is a trauma response. The mind protects us from fragmenting or suppressing memories that are too painful to process at times. But what is repressed isn't truly gone. It weighs gently beneath the surface, asking to be healed when we are ready. So unhealed memories continue to echo through the body, behavior, and relationships, even when conscious mind has forgotten the story. Forgiveness requires readiness, the willingness to meet the memory when safety and awareness return. Forgiveness invites the light of understanding into what was once hidden. It transforms our relationship to the past. So, can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma of all times, dimensions from all versions of you when forgetting was the only solution? Can the Creator do a beautiful healing and resolve this on a history level? And how does this present itself? Well, through dementia and Alzheimer's. So everywhere in your genetic line, when it was easier to forget than to process, can the Creator just extend this unconditional love healing? Can the Creator cancel, clear, resolve, I must forget to forgive? Can the Creator teach you the difference between forgiving and forgetting? And would you like to know that it's possible to remember safely with peace in your body and mind? Would you like to know how to process memories through love without fear or overwhelm or stress? Would you like to know how to also be able to look at a past traumatic event without reliving it? Would you like to know how to forgive even the parts of your story you once needed to forget? Would you like to know that you can heal without losing yourself in the memory? Would you like to know what it feels like to integrate your past as lessons and wisdom? Would you like to know how to put the past behind you and being able to access experiences as files? Would you like to know how to remember with compassion, clarity, and divine understanding? Would you like to know how to release old energies while keeping the lessons with gratitude? Would you like to know that you are free to remember in safety, to release in peace, and to live fully in the present moment, creating your future with ease and grace consciously? And we often think that forgiveness only applies to other people. But forgiveness has many faces, right? Of course, the most common is, and that we are most aware of, is forgiving others for their actions, betrayal, rejection, neglect, deception, control, abuse, and so on. And we learn many times to forgive them, yet quietly carry resentment towards the person we once were. And yet, forgiving ourselves is what truly restores the soul's wholeness. Many of us find it easier to extend compassion to others than to ourselves. And we hold on to remorse and regret for the opportunities we miss, for the words we cannot take back, for the actions we have taken, for the choices we have made in fear, immaturity, misalignment, or confusion. We replay these moments in our mind, hoping that relentless self-criticism will somehow redeem us. But self-condemnation doesn't purify, it paralyzes. So guilt was designed as a temporary signal to our actions had strayed from love. And when guilt lingers, it crystallizes into shame, and shame is one of the lowest vibrations a human heart can carry. And if we embrace the perspective that every decision we made, even the worst ones that we judge to be the worst ones, even the one that hurt us or others, were made from a level of awareness we held at that time, we begin to heal. We cannot condemn the past self for not yet possessing the wisdom, the consciousness, the awareness of the present one. We can, but we can choose not to. Each misstep was a teacher. Each action, a doorway into deeper integrity. So forgiving ourselves does not mean erasing accountability or responsibility. It means integrating it with compassion. It means I see the impact of my choices. I choose to learn from them without carrying guilt, shame, regret, remorse. I can be accountable, I can be responsible, and I can act from a higher integrity through wisdom and with discernment while forgiving myself. So can I witness Creator bringing this in? what self-forgiveness is, what self-compassion is, what self-acceptance as self-love is. Can the Creator mark complete any oaths, vows, or contracts to eternally punish yourself for past actions in this life or another? Can the Creator release ancestral guilt passed down through family lines where you carried blame for what your ancestors did or didn't do? Can the Creator teach you also the clear discernment between that and between your actions and the energies of your actions? Can the Creator resolve the collective guilt of humanity's suffering, war, injustice, any place where your soul decided to atone for others? Can the Creator cancel, clear, and resolve that forgiveness must be earned through suffering and self-denial and self-sacrifice? Can the Creator send the healing to the moments where you abandoned your truth or intuition and have never forgiven yourself for it? Can the Creator release the belief that mistakes make you unworthy of love or spiritual growth? Can I witness Creator also releasing the unresolved survival's guilt for being alive, being happy, being successful? Can I witness Creator liberating you from those old selves that you kept as hostage? And denied forgiveness to? Can I witness the Creator's unconditional love to be sent to all shame stored in the body, the judgment towards your own healing journey? Can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma and send unconditional love to those experiences where your forgiveness was rejected, invalidated, or ridiculed, leaving you afraid to forgive yourself? Can the Creator cancel, clear, and resolve the belief that you must stay small or punished to remain humble or spiritual? Can the Creator resolve all addictions and attachments to the guilt as identity where you have built a sense of goodness through self-blame? Can the Creator retrieve and cleanse with unconditional love also fragments scattered in timelines where you never allowed yourself redemption or peace? Can the Creator teach you what it feels like to forgive yourself fully and completely across all versions of you, past, present, and future, with ease and grace? Can the Creator show you how to transform regret into wisdom and compassion, that you're safe to take accountability and responsibility without self-destruction? Can the Creator show you that you can release guilt while still learn from it, and regret and remorse? Can we release regret, remorse, and guilt from being reminders of how to make better decisions in the future? That you already know how to make better decisions in the future? Can the Creator show you that you can see your past selves through Creator's eyes with understanding, divine understanding, with compassion and tenderness and love? Can the Creator show you and magnify your ability to how to extend the same mercy to yourself that you offer to others? Can the Creator show you how to experience humility without humiliation and reflection without self-blame? Can the Creator show you and bring into your awareness that forgiving yourself restores vitality, creativity, and emotional freedom, that you are allowed to move forward, to live fully, and to be happy even after recognizing past mistakes, that those were just learnings? Can the Creator show you how far you have gotten and show you how to move forward with self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and self-love? And for many, the most hidden resentment of all is not towards another person, but towards God, Creator, Source, or the universe itself. It's the quiet ache that says, "Where were you when I needed you? Why did you let this happen? Why didn't you answer my prayer? This pain often lives beneath other wounds, distinguished as mistrust, disconnection, disbelief. When life feels cruel or chaotic or unjust, the mind tries to make sense of it. And when no sense can be found, it turns towards the divine with anger, resentment, disappointment. Is the soul's way to protest, is the soul's way to protest at being separated from what it thought was unconditional safety. This represents the soul's longing to reconcile with the source, to move from fear of abandonment and rejection into remembrance of unity. Because in truth, we are always connected to the Creator. But our pain can make it impossible to feel this connection. So forgiving God is about releasing the illusion of separation that suffering created. So can I witness Creator sending a healing and pulling the shock and the trauma from all space-time dimensions, from all dimensions where you felt resentment, anger, disappointment, grief, disconnection, abandonment by God, Creator, Source, the universe, creation itself? Can we cancel, clear, and resolve that divine is cruel, unjust, indifferent, unreliable, or punishing? Can the Creator pull the shock and the trauma from all space-time dimensions, from all versions of you, and send you healing where you cried out, you prayed, you begged for help, and felt ignored, unheard, unseen, unacknowledged, unworthy of support? Everywhere you were functioning from the belief that if God loved me, wouldn't allow me to suffer, can I witness healing sent to these experiences? To all experiences where healing didn't come, the loved one passed, life felt unfair, miracles didn't arrive, and hope turned into bitterness. Pulling the shock and the traumas, resolving these on a history level. Can the Creator send the healing to all experiences of feeling punished or tested by God and betrayed by life, fate, or the Creator? Can the Creator mark complete all oaths, vows, promises, contracts, to never trust again, to never have faith again, to stay self-reliant, independent, because God can be counted on, trusted? Can I witness Creator also pulling the shock and the trauma from all space-time dimensions, from all versions of you, and also cleansing the cellular memory of religious traumas, fear of hell, punishment, divine rejection. Also releasing the generational traumas and ancestral grief where your family line lost faith after tragedy or war, and send healing to them all. Can the Creator send the healing and pull the shock and the trauma from all experiences where there was confusion between the Creator's love and the human authority figures who claimed to represent God but inflicted harm? So forgiveness interacts beautifully with other virtues. It is a bridge that connects and activates others. So acceptance says, this happened. Forgiveness says, I release what this did to me. Together they dissolve resistance and the war with reality. So can I witness this awareness coming in from the seventh plane? Then the next one is forgiveness and tolerance. Tolerance is the patience towards others. Forgiveness is the patience towards our own healing process. Together they cultivate emotional maturity and compassion without self-betrayal. And we always need to forgive what we decided we could not tolerate, right? So there's another connection. So can the Creator just bring this in, and how to allow emotional maturity and compassion without self-betrayal? Then there is forgiveness and detachment. Forgiveness cuts emotional cords. Detachment teaches us to hold wisdom without pain. It allows us to remember without reliving it by combining the two. So can the Creator show you how to do that? Awareness reveals the lesson and forgiveness clears emotional fog. Together they shift us from reaction to observation. So can the Creator show you how to do that? How to combine awareness and forgiveness? And then forgiveness and, of course, love, which isn't a virtue. Love is the destination and forgiveness is the path. And every act of forgiveness returns us to unity where there are no victims or villains, only evolving souls. So can the Creator just bring that in, that you know how to have the destination towards love and practicing forgiveness on the way? Would you like to know how to choose to forgive yourself and others in divine timing and divine truth? Can the Creator show you how to live your life without resentment, anger, remorse, regret, rage, need for revenge, guilt, shame? Can I witness Creator repurposing these receptors of these emotions to what it feels like to be forgiving and forgiven and feel safe? Can the Creator show you how to choose to remember the wisdom and how to live in the energy of forgiveness that naturally leads to love? And I like to mention now the founder of Theta Healing, Vajana Steibel, who teaches that forgiveness is the highest form of protection and the only virtue that can be consciously cultivated through repetition. So by you saying, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, you can actually cultivate this virtue. So I invite you to, say that mantra if you feel called to. And we realign our energy with the frequency of unconditional love by saying, I forgive you and I forgive myself. Each repetition can soften what the ego has hardened, and each breath of forgiveness clears the field between us and the divine. And in that clearing, miracles begin to unfold. And even the Hawaiian practice, Ho'oponopono, carries the ancient wisdom with the 4 phrases, right? I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. These 4 keys to unlock the gates of peace, humility, gratitude, and love. So, I have practiced Ho'oponopono when I imagine a situation, I imagine the energy, I imagine, relationship dynamic, and keep saying to that person, to that energy, to that dynamic, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I can literally witness the energies transforming. So sometimes it's a quick fix that I invite you to practice. So next, I will guide you through a forgiveness exercise that is taught in Theta Healing, in the advanced Theta Healing seminar. Basically, I would like you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And think of the person you would like to forgive. This can be a person, an institution, yourself, God, anyone. And then now please bring your attention to your heart space. And you can, of course, continue doing this exercise with different people and rewind this video to 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I would like you to bring your attention to your heart space and visualize that energy being sent down to the core of Mother Earth, that is part of all that is, that loves and supports us unconditionally. And then visualize that energy coming back up through the soles of your feet, merging your body, up your spine, opening your chakras, forming a beautiful ball of light above your head. Pretend you are in this ball of light and start to go up, 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 rise above the stars. The higher you go, the faster you go with the intention, connect to the 7th plane of existence, beyond the universe, the bright lights, the dark lights, the beautiful golden lights, the thicker jelly-like substance that are the laws and paths, the pink mist arrive to this pearly, iridescent, bright white light, this energy of unconditional love. Keep going higher, feel the ball dissolve slowly, And feel this unconditional love energy embracing you and flowing to you and through you. And now you're going to make the request, create a world that is. It is requested that I do the forgiveness exercise on and tell the name. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And then visualize a sacred space opening up and that person standing in front of you. And I invite you to tell them all the ways you felt hurt by them. And they are just there patiently listening to you. And then at the end you can say, you really hurt me, but I choose to forgive you. And I choose to hand this over to something greater than myself. And by this, I release myself from living at the level of the wound you caused. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose freedom. I have clarity to see the divine purpose of this experience we had together. And I release you from guiding me back to wholeness this way. Thank you for all the lessons learned. Reflect on what else have you learned through that experience. And you can say, I mark this way of learning, these lessons, these virtues complete now. And I release you from any contracts that held this paradigm. I forgive you, I forgive myself for choosing to learn this way. And then please bring your attention back to this unconditional love energy. Visualize this unconditional love pearly energy rinsing you off, cleansing you, flowing to you and through you, into your heart, into your space, feeling liberated. And then bring your attention back to your body through your crown chakra. Take a deep breath in and visualize sending that energy down from your heart space to the core of Mother Earth, that energy coming back up through the soles of your feet all the way to the top of your head, grounding you back to the here, to the now, connecting to Mother Earth, connected to your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. To finish, may I witness Creator marking complete any oaths, vows, promises, contracts, limiting blessings of curse or curses that would prevent this healing to be received by you, accepted by you, implemented by you in your everyday life. Can I witness Creator expanding this healing and offering it to your genetic line, 7 generations backwards, forwards, and also expanding the offerings to your soul family members. Can the Creator mark complete any soul contracts and release people from your past, present, future who would be coming in teaching you forgiveness till these obsolete ways and paradigms that we have shifted, and welcoming more supportive relationships where you can become aware of unity without the need to experience wounds, pain, suffering, Thank you for being here. Next virtue is fortitude, and sending you love today and every day.